Hey, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. I have my Tupelo tea here, up here in Blue Ridge, right here at the Shops of Sycamore Crossing. Tupelo tea. I love it.
I love it too.
I love this tea.
I have a special concoction, but I've already forgotten what she put in it. Strawberries and peach or something. She just mixed them up. You can have her mix anything.
We're live here, Blue Ridge, and we're going to wrap up the show this morning with George McClellan and Jane Whaley. Jane is the owner of the property. Every once in a while, you have an opinion on something. every once in a while. But the Tupelo tea. Tom is telling us last night when we were out here sitting and talking that he is selling out of stuff. It's moving so fast.
And he's only opening. It's a soft opening.
Right.
He hasn't gotten everything ready, but they're going to be so successful. And the reason is, it's just fabulous. I was in a restaurant the other night and I ordered iced tea and I could hardly drink it because I'm so spoiled on this.
It's a great product.
Yeah,
Great product. Tupelo tea right here at the Shops at LJ. Our backdrop is the Broken Bull, which, Lonnie, we're not telling people not to go in the Broken Bull, but I can't. I've been in there twice. I've come out of there with 2 jackets. I can't go in. Broken Bull is a jacket. I get 2 of them. I have New Blue Home and Gift. I have Kinte, the Peruvian store, and Tupelo tea.
They have or had a store down there in LJ for a long time. I think she still lives down there. You know, I want to comment, if I can, on that last interview you just did. She went to Joshua in the Battle of Jericho.
Right.
There was an Army intelligence officer, an MI officer, who very, very biblically acute, and he started reading through this, and he started seeing things that are hidden in Scripture, which were in fact actual things that intelligence people do today. And there is a YouTube. It was on History Channel, his program one time, or his show, that described what he saw, like the Battle of Jericho. Now, when they say the walls of Jericho fell down, what he's saying is they just didn't collapse because people were tooting horns. Those guys were tooting horns, walking around that thing. They did it 7 circuits, but it took them about 6 days to do those 7 circuits. In the meantime, Rachel had let the rope down. Two of Joshua's spies had gone up. She was a prostitute, but she was helping the Jews, and they opened the gate. Gideon's army went in there, or Joshua's army went in there, and defeated Jericho. Therefore, the walls came down. What they did in those days is they tore the walls down. And so when you look at the Scripture and then you put it into real context of the military action, then the explanation becomes plain. It's clear exactly how it was done.
It's actually very, very amazing how so many things within Scripture are actually things we do today, and we don't realize that a lot of our laws that our judges, rule on are scriptural laws in the Bible. But I don't want to say let's move past that, but in what little bit of time we have left, Jane, I spoke, actually, Dr. Whaley, I spoke to your husband earlier this morning. I spoke to George. Just share a little bit of your feelings this morning in America, waking up with the news that we've been hit with this morning in our country.
Woke up to the news. I didn't know it happened last night, so this morning, and Bill and I we were just devastated. We were really just kind of silent and we didn't say much. We just couldn't believe it. Then I turned you on. I was at home, and when you mentioned talk to your law enforcement in town, I immediately texted Dane. I texted Johnny. Dane's the sheriff. I texted Johnny Searcy and thanked him for his service, all of them. I texted Brian, who stopped by here. I'm getting ready to text a few more I know personally. I'm just thanking them for being there, for protecting us. I mean, I mean that wholeheartedly. I'm overwhelmed. I am so sad, really deep in my heart, and I'm worried for this country. And if you want to bring the Bible back into it, we've got to pray a lot about this country, because this next election, very important. I know you have no interest in that, but
no. But I will say this, and no disrespect to how you put it, But when you say if you want to bring the Bible back into it, I think actually that may be that may be the problem is we've took the Bible out of it.
I mean, even
Yeah,
bring
no,
it
I
up to the
understand, but you know what I mean. But I
I
think the
know
problem
what
is
you mean.
we took it out,
And we're not allowed. in
and
many
now we
places.
can't figure out what happened in this country. I think George and I have talked about this many times on the show. I think the moral decline in this country and what we have allowed to take place, the whole entire country, but especially in these inner cities, and then to have a president say we're going to have to look at our realities here. And I'm thinking to myself, do you understand what the realities are? Do you know what I'm saying?
His realities are not our realities. They're not the realities on the street. And he expresses that all the time. The man is clueless.
Clueless.
As smart as he is, intelligent, his goal is to change America. And he's got about 6 more months to do it. But he's clueless about the realities.
Do you know, to put kind of in perspective how the morals of our country has changed, I graduated from high school in 1966. That was Leave It to Beaver time. We all watched that. I mean, we watched it all. And then college in 71, Vietnam started. But about a year ago, my mother was visiting here. We were watching television, and something came on, and I froze. I couldn't stand to watch what we were watching with my mother sitting there. It was embarrassing because times have changed, and what we kind of take as, or some take as normal, what you're watching. I just had to get up and turn the television off. I mean, she could have watched it alone, but it was embarrassing to me because I'm of an older generation, and to watch it with my mother.
See, I kind of get really upset when I hear that, and not because you said it, but I get really upset when I hear that I'm of an older generation. There are things that should be a certain way regardless the generation we're at.
Amen.
You understand?
Morals and ethics should.
We shouldn't have the conversation. Myself, I find myself saying, back when we were kids. Well, I can understand there'll always be a back when we were kids conversation because things will change. But morally, it shouldn't be because we're from an older generation. There's some things that should be standard regardless of what generation we're in. Let me ask you this. Saying that, when you're talking about the TV show, you want to know the one of the comments or statements that haunts me every day with this guy and many people when I hear a new normal.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand when I hear this is a new normal.
Well, that's the Goebbels lie. You repeat it over and over and over and over and over again enough times, people start accepting the term in their mind, and then they apply it to whatever's happening. It is not the new normal. The new normal is eradication of our moral. It's eradication of right and wrong. What is right? What is wrong? You know what's right and wrong. You don't go throw rocks to that guy's through your window over there because you think it's fun. Somebody's going to beat the hell out of you, and that's right.
You hear James Orwell mentioned all the time now because that's what's happening. What's right is wrong. What's wrong is right. In 1986, I mean, read that again. I read it about 2 years ago, and it's bone chilling.
It's bone chilling, and Obama's the cause of it. He has purposefully divided our races. Where, like I mentioned on our earlier interview, it took me a long time to accept blacks in the law enforcement profession to the point where I've actually got friends, some who are friends and have been to my house for dinners, to the point now where all that is quickly changing again because Obama has done it.
Well, am I saying, and I understand where you're coming from, because you say, I don't want to say of a generation, because I want to make sure that I'm being respectful in the way I say this, but my mother and father, I watched them of a generation get into where, I don't even like the word accepting, but where they had black friends. We had black friends over the house, but I do know there was a time
when it happened.
When it didn't happen. Okay,
However, in my house, when I grew up as a kid, we had a lot of Mexicans in our house. out of Southern California. But what were they? They were my dad's co-workers. He was a California Highway Patrol officer. These were Mexicans who were Americans, or American Mexicans, or Mexican heritage, who were California Highway Patrol officers. And that whole brotherhood taught me one thing. There is a brotherhood of men, and it's in your profession, mainly when you're not throwing rocks, but you're all trying to achieve exactly the same goal. They would come over, my dad would give them a haircut, they would drink beer, they went deep sea fishing together, they went lake fishing together. I can think of 3 of those guys in our hometown when I was a little boy.
I think what George is saying here is, as our racial progress, and I do think we were well on our way, and racial progress was coming to a point. Jane, do you feel in Obama's last, as the first black president, that he has actually set our racial progress back?
That's an understatement. I mean, along with Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, I think really there's an agenda to make it as decisive as they can and to make unrest in our country, make us volatile. It's terrifying, but I do see, and I will say with Mr. Trump, people are having a voice to say, I don't like this happening, and I have a chance to do something about it. And one comment, when I was raised, my grandfather in a small town in Arkansas was superintendent of schools. We had black and white restrooms, we had black and white doctor's offices, and I remember being very young, and I asked Mother what that was, and Mother said, that is a very sad state of affairs. But a story of my grandfather, of course the schools were separated, and my grandfather came in, and one of my mother's sisters had a tattered math book. And my grandfather said, what is that book doing so tattered? And they says, well, he went into the schools and they said, oh, they accidentally gave us the colored people's books. And my grandfather was furious. He says, this is what they're reading? He said, that is not going to happen. And that started a huge movement in my little town of Malvern, and that's how I was raised. I was raised, really, I've never said some words that a lot of people say all the time. I've never said that word, and I was raised in a wonderful, open family, and I'm proud of it.
So you think it's an understatement to say that Obama his administration has sent us backwards on racial...
Understatement. I think they have an agenda.
It's on purpose.
An agenda. They have an agenda.
Absolutely on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
What's the agenda?
The agenda is, well, they would really like to divide the country and destroy the Republican Party, and then it would be a dictatorship. I mean, they wouldn't mind that, and if Hillary gets back in...
They got to disarm us first.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Read what Lenin had to say. I mean, you get the guns away and it's gone. That's what happened with Hitler.
And
the last things they got. You talk to a German citizen that was back then, and they'll come here and they'll say, you are doing right exactly what Hitler's doing, and once they get your guns, you're done. Now, I own lots of guns. I have a gun carrying permit. I know a lot about how to handle them correctly. I wouldn't consider shooting anybody unless they were coming into my home to kill me or my family. But I have the right to have one in case someone does come into my home. But
absolutely right. Absolutely right.
I'm just kind of mortified about what's happening, and I think Obama's going to do in the last 6 months. How many months does he have?
That's
January 20th of 2017.
You just watch what he tries to get done in that time. It's going to be frightening, but we've just got to band together. And
George, what do you think he's going to try to get done in that time?
Well, he's going to try to get our guns, and I think he's going to use the UN treaty thing as the way to do it. But nobody's going to voluntarily give up their guns. It's not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen. This because Obama says so, or some government official says, well, you will now be a felon if you have a gun, so bring them in and dump them in that box like they did in Australia. Mm-hmm. How many Australians did not turn in their guns? A bunch of them.
Really?
A bunch of them. And I'll give you another example. When these masses of Syrians started going up the Balkans and into Hungary, and Hungary put up a fence to stop them, so they went up to Slovenia and into Austria to get into Germany, they were met by people silently setting on their lawns and their farms and their fences, armed with machine guns or submachine guns, AK-47s, old German weapons, some American weapons from World War II that had been hidden away. And these people sat out there and they were telling all these people, just try something. No, nothing happened. But people don't give up their guns.
Jane, what do you think the president's saying when he says something like he did yesterday? This is America's problem. I mean, what do you think he is saying? I listened to him at the podium and I just scratched my head. I guess that's an understatement for me. But what do you think he's saying when he says this is America's problem?
That, along with many other things he said, I think he is trying to brainwash the part of our society that listens only to one side of the news.
Right.
We think we meaning I'm a conservative Republican, I'll just say that, but a lot of independents do too. We think that he is actually the problem, not that we're the problem. And America doesn't have a problem, but it's getting a big problem very quickly. And it's the brainwashing. I have relatives who only listen to what he says. They believe what he says. They believe Hillary Clinton did nothing wrong because she continues to say that. And it's like the Bible says, eyes are closed. Some eyes will be closed and they will never be open. So we've got a job ahead of us in the next 6 months.
Okay, we got a little bit of time left. Trump. I'm sorry, we got a little time.
Let's do it.
I have.
Let's do it.
We got a little time left. Trump. The media, drive-bys, had a lot of fun here recently in the last several months, talking about the division in the Republican Party and would they unite and so on and so forth. My understanding is Trump had a very successful visit to the House of Representatives and the Senate. I hear he had a very successful visit. Even to the point, last night I listened to the reporter ask, Ted Cruz was in the meeting when Trump addressed the senators, and Ted Cruz has now accepted a speaking slot at the convention. Mm-hmm. And at the convention, and he was asked, he said, Donald asked me to speak at the convention and I accepted. There was something about that. What slot will Ted Cruz speak in?
Number 2.
Number 2?
Little Marco won't be there at all.
What?
You don't think so?
No, he said he
Has he said he wasn't
Yeah,
coming?
he said he wasn't
That is sad. That's a shame.
That's okay.
That's
That's
right.
okay.
It's okay.
Why
Little
is it
Marco's
okay?
marked for
It's
a long
really
time.
okay. Anybody that wants to get on board, it's okay. We have something different this time in this election that I think we have never had in my lifetime, even as Ronald Reagan is president, but I've not seen in my lifetime, is we don't have a party, we have the American people.
That is so good. That is exciting.
I
I'm
see-
excited.
That's what I think.
But I see one danger here.
What's the danger?
If the Trump is bringing aboard Republicans or considering a elite Republican as a vice presidential candidate to go with him, I do not think he needs to do that. That will say he's on board with the Republican platform, and they don't have one.
Well-
Their platform is not constitutional, does not meet the Constitution. It meets what they want, and he needs somebody so totally
What about Trey
Adam
Gowdy?
West. Adam West.
Alan?
Hallelujah.
Okay.
He needs that kind of a guy. He doesn't need Newt. He needs Newt as his chief of staff.
Consigliere.
He's
That's it.
Trey Gowdy would be great. I don't know. If
Trey
you-
Gowdy, no.
You don't like him? I love that.
No, I didn't say I didn't like him. I love hearing the Blue Ridge Train. It just makes me feel so small town. I love it. Train whistle. We're gonna have the 10 o'clock chimes. Okay, you ready now? I let you do all the talking. Now make the prediction. All right, you ready?
He's going to make a
Okay,
prediction.
I'm a
He does it
prediction.
all the time.
I do it all.
Occasionally, right?
George said I'm used to this. He just
right.
Somebody
throws-
writing this down.
He just throws it. All right, here you go. You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, not making light of, I truly think Trump loves the country. I do. I think he
do too.
loves his country. I think he's a patriot, and I think he wants to make the country great again. Now, all that said, he likes ratings. This is a man that loves ratings. loves ratings as well as anybody. Now, the highest rated debates ever on TV was that first one, okay? Through the roof. Oh yeah, highest rated debate ever. He allowed advertisers to triple their advertising costs, right? Or prices.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm getting up to my prediction. My prediction is Republican Party convention. You don't know. Now, I could be very wrong on this, but I want to go out here on this limb. Republican Party convention. You don't know VP until Republican Party convention. You don't know it. And second, that the Cleveland Coliseum will be rocking. They will play some raucous music. There will be lights going. There'll be flashing lasers.
Definitely.
There'll be everything.
Trump
There'll be an American flag. Everything. It'll be everything, and it'll be built up, and that thing will come up, and Donald Trump will be standing there with his VP selection. Got it? You with me?
Showmanship.
You got it?
Yes.
Showmanship.
That curtain will raise, and Donald Trump will be standing up with his vice presidential pick, and it'll blow America away.
I have a question for you.
You with it? Huh?
I have a question for
And
you.
I'm still going to bring my very slim. It's like Candidate Casino on Friday with Brett Baer.
Yeah.
I'm going to put one chip. I'm going to put a $5 chip. And I'm not going to do like Krauthammer on Wine, Women, and Song. You ever see where he puts the $10 chip? I'm going to put a small chip because I have the video to back it up from the very beginning on Ted Cruz. I'm going to put a small chip on Ted Cruz.
Wouldn't bother me a bit.
Just a small one because something in the way he said yesterday, Donald asked me to speak and I accepted. And then they said, what about an endorsement? He said, we didn't discuss an endorsement. He asked me to speak.
That's a good observation. Now,
It's
did
tricky.
you get that from Jerry?
Hey, no, I didn't get it from
He
Jerry.
calls and tells you what to think all the time.
Oh, that's my brother. My brother and I talk about every
All
day.
the
Did you
time.
get that from Jerry? Yeah, you get that from
Yeah,
Jerry.
he's the mafia guy. You know how
All
it
right,
is.
all right.
We don't make
Okay,
it-
vice presidential pick. This is where we switch. McLaughlin report. You ever watch McLaughlin years ago?
I used to.
Okay.
He's got too old.
Wait a minute. No. Vice presidential pick. Go.
Cruz, I think he got a lot of votes, and I think he'll help him out. I know that the Democrats hate him, and we love the people the Democrats don't like for a reason. They don't like him for a reason.
Who else? Give me a couple names that you would.
West. I
Alan
don't
West.
think he'll do it, but I think Alan West is a genius and a wonderful American.
You like that, George?
Brilliant.
Yeah, I like the Alan West thing. I had not considered Cruz until you brought it up, but that's a very good point. I can see the strength in that. Not Gingrich, not because he's not capable, but because he's just a 70-plus-year-old white man, and that's two of them up there. And I don't think that will sell as much as having either Alan West there or Ted Cruz.
I think Donald will be true Donald to the core, and he won't disappoint. He likes ratings. Let me tell you something. If Donald Trump holds his VP pick as tight as it is right now, and he does the curtain raises and he's standing there with
That
his
would be
VP pick,
fabulous.
what would ratings be like? You know what he'll guarantee? He will guarantee, maybe not every American, but he will guarantee that the audience that night will be bigger than anything Hillary Clinton could ever put together.
Brilliant.
Right?
Brilliant.
You like that?
I like
And
it.
unlike Dick Morris, I can't be fired. I own the place.
Who's your pick?
For VP? I've thought little Marco, but he's saying no. Strangely enough, I would love to see him go and pick his daughter. It would be wild. I think Ivanka is a brilliant
That would kill
woman.
it. That would kill it.
Kill him.
That would kill it.
I
She's
understand,
smart.
but
We
she's
all understand,
brilliant.
but America doesn't understand that.
I thought I thought Suzanne Martinez out in New Mexico, but they had a rift when he went out there, so I don't know about that. I thought,
Yeah, they did.
I thought Suzanne Martinez
He gave
was
her an opportunity to
Right.
step up, and she declined it, and so he shot her down. And hey, you don't screw with Trump.
Democrat convention. Okay, it's real simple. Republicans, Hillary's a crook, make America great again. America First. Trump has set the theme for the convention. That's done. It's going to be through the roof. It is going to be the most.
Well, she's not going to say make
It's going to be the
America
most
great again.
patriotic convention
That's the
in your
Republican
lifetime.
convention.
Now, flip to the other side. The last convention for the Democrats, remember the young lady couldn't get birth control? You remember that?
Yes, in
right.
college.
Right, right.
Rush
She's so
hour.
right.
Oh,
And we did a full convention that go back and look at the tape of Democrats of pro-abortion, pro-women, pro-women's rights, and all this. What is the theme of their convention this year? Take a shot.
It's going to continue being anti-Americanism. They're not going to have a prayer. They're not going to sing the national anthem.
Free college, free.
Free this. It's
free
free.
everything,
It is
higher
socialism
wages.
that all the way down to the
Socialism
end.
all the way.
Yeah.
One thing that I don't understand about this email issue in the FBI, and I haven't heard it said just like this, but they're quibbling over whether she intended to do it, whether she didn't intend it. The fact is she did it. She did it. And if she doesn't have enough judgment not to have done it, why will she have enough judgment to be president? I don't care if it was legal, illegal, it was 110 classified documents, and if she could not discern that as Secretary of State, how can she discern anything as president? And that seems, if they indict her, great. But if they don't, that seems to me a slam dunk. She is out.
We had an FBI director, Comey, which I like to not belabor it, but go back far enough to remind people that this guy was a junior investigator with
He was with the
but he was with
Department of Justice DA office in New York. Manhattan.
Giuliani.
Yeah,
He was with Giuliani.
yes,
So
right.
so this guy is the head of the FBI that came out and gave a 14-minute indictment and then didn't indict.
And then,
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Gave a 14-minute indictment. Guys, it's 11 o'clock.
Is it really? Time
Yes.
goes by faster than having fun, doesn't it?
This is beautiful. Jane, I just want to say this is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
It's comfortable. I seen people up here last night shopping in town, and they enjoy this area. They stop and sit down and everything. This is just beautiful. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for all your hard work here
Love doing it.
and
My
putting
wife
this
and I come up
together.
there frequently, and we like to go to Christian Lee's and other places. You bet. We got our favorite spots.
Yes.
I
Well, you
hope
have
this
to
is
go
one of
over
them
there.
after dinner.
Well,
And
this
then
would be nice.
Come over here and have sit down.
Have a-
Is it the
Glass of
BYOB
tea?
here?
we're on live camera, so I'll talk to you later.
Oh, I see you have no smoke.
We have
inside.
party hours,
But-
George.
but it
we
gets-
we
but it-
turn these lights into strobe lights at 9.
Now,
Okay.
after 9 o'clock, this is my front yard because we live right up there.
You live above.
Yeah.
So in
yeah.
my front yard, there may be a cigar or two.
I love
there
it.
may be-
Okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
agree
We know
with
we
you.
got to cut. We got to. I can see that this is
Going-
This is actually
Of
going
course
the
I
right
shouldn't have
direction, but it needs to go off camera. Folks, as you well know, I
love
need to end before I say something I shouldn't, not something I regret. Anyhow, I'm your host, BKP. We've been live here at the shops at Sycamore Crossing this morning. A beautiful day in Blue Ridge. Come up and join us. Look around here. We can hear the train. In a minute, you're going to hear the 10 o'clock church bells. I've had George McClellan and Jane Whaley with me for this last hour. And we just thank you so much. We'll be back Monday morning. Now, don't forget, Monday morning, FYN TV starts a whole new line of programming. Okay, we're going to the next level. 10 o'clock church bells behind us. That's our out of here. But Monday morning, we start 8 to 10. Good morning from the office with BKP. 10 to 12. 10 to 12, the Scott Farrell Show, and from Noonday News with Kevin Hensley. So we are out. Lonnie, take us out of here. We will see you Monday morning at 8 a.m. We're out.